Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, today we have Alliance War 9 of Season 24. ASR going up against KENOB, and this is a crazy fun war. I do get a boss fight and there's a ton of cool things happening back and forth. This was a crazy war. So ASR against KENOB, it is as tense of a matchup as it can get. KENOB obviously amazing Alliance War alliance, but neither they or ASR are having the best of the seasons, and partially due to that and the fact that everybody seems to be dropping wars to everybody else, top 3 is still on the table. However, this is the war that Kabam finally gets me. That's right. Now, Deathless streak is over. Unfortunately, I went pretty much 24, 25 wars without dying. But unfortunately, I did get KO'd today. But I'm not going to tell you which fight it is. But when we get there, we're going to examine it, because there is a bit of bullshittery happening, and I'm actually super pissed right now. It happened less than an hour ago, pretty much. But, oh boy, I am so mad about this. Anyways, so let's get to the war and see what happens. Right, so I will be doing path 1 in section 1, path 7 in section 2, and then I do have the final boss to deal with. Plus, I'm going to be taking a whole bunch of kind of like joint fights along the way, because as I said, this was very important, and I was kind of determined to put as much of it on my shoulders as I can, because I just wanted to do everything. I was kind of like in a mood to take every fight, do everything I can to make sure that we win. So that includes proper boosting, changing masteries for each individual fight if I have to, so on and so forth. I just wanted to make sure that I do everything I possibly can to get the win in here. So in path 1, this Tiger, I have taken her like well over a dozen times by now. It's a super easy fight with Dr. Doom, because obviously she gets buffs and the node itself generates buffs. So it's Vigorous Assault and Arc Overload. She starts unblockable, and the trick for this fight is pretty much just kind of like manage to hit her block whilst that regen is active. So you kind of like just procrastinate and well, drag the time until it expires, and then you can kind of do whatever you want, especially with Doom, who can stagger, and max Mystic Dispersion. I'm gonna get up to that level 3 in absolutely no time. Very little to worry about. She drops her level 1, but I generally don't care about it. She has the armor up there and the regen, but it's kind of whatever. I have my level 3. The fight is pretty much set in stone at this point. Doom's level 3, then medium, triple light, double medium, level 1 into level 2, and the fight is done if she's still alive by then. So here we can see that I drop my level 1, 2 full bars of power. Wonderful. I'm going to drop my level 2, and that is over. Very quick, very simple, very straightforward fight. And next up, I have to take this 6-star rank 3 thing on Masochism. Now, I will just end up quaking it. However, I thought maybe I'm not going to have enough oomph in the quake, and maybe it is going to be a really long fight. So basically, I decided to put on Suicide Masteries, which is the reason why I didn't use any health boost before. And I'm just going to use Combat Regeneration boost here. And yeah, I'm going to quake down that thing. That's why quake is here. Just looking for that combat regen boost. I actually use like 2 or 3 of these, because whenever I use quake and if I run Suicide Masteries, it always ends up in quite significant item use. And I just wanted to be super safe that I don't run out of items. So rather than using an extra potion after the fight, I can try and mitigate as much of the suicide damage here as I can with these combat regen boosts. Ideally, if I can like get 2 fights out of them, that's perfect. And obviously, yeah, Quake against Thing, nothing too crazy, nothing too scary. We all have seen these fights a dozen times. And Suicides obviously help Quake tremendously with the damage output. And again, this all goes to the same idea. I want to do everything I can to give myself the best chance of finishing these fights as quickly and as safely as I can. And in this case, it also includes just running the Suicide Masteries, spending the extra units to make sure that I have higher damage output. I need to spend less time in the fight, and less time in the fight means less time I would be making mistakes. And especially in a situation like here, where I am also contending with masochism, it was very, very important. Otherwise, it would have been completely different length of the fight. So here we can see that the minute in, he's already at 11%, so we have been largely successful. I had one small slip up earlier and I make another one there. That must be the nerves, it must be the stress, because these wars are incredibly stressful. But here you can see 5%, and at this point, yeah, the fight is pretty much decided, done and dusted. Now I'm gonna move quickly here. I'm gonna heal up quick. I actually didn't quite remember Carl's abilities and whether he can prevent evade at the start of the fight, so I want to double check. And he needs at least 5 persistent charges, 5 with the Thanos' blessings, in order to be able to bypass evade. I just had to remind that to myself. That's why I had to quickly peek in his ability list there. But as soon as I confirmed that, it was very straightforward. Just bring in Quake, finish the fight, absolutely no problem at all whatsoever. This fight's super straightforward. Strike, counter, fury, doesn't matter, doesn't mean anything. If I didn't have Suicide Masteries active, I could have very well easily taken this fight with Dr. Doom as well. But I just figured, since I have all the setup here, because technically I wasn't planned to do any more fights right now. So this was meant to be my last fight of the evening, or the first evening before I go to bed, and then I was meant to finish up the next morning. However, that didn't quite work out, and I end up taking, well, to me, I wanted to take that fight. I wanted to make sure that I'm the one who goes and takes down the Nihilus. And yeah, so I end up changing my masteries again. I put on Mystic Dispersion, take off Suicide Masteries, checking out there on my boosts, activate the health boost, and activate the Power Start 1, the plan, and check if I'm recording. The plan there is quite simple: go in Dr. Doom, drop the level 1 from the very, very start of the fight, and whoa, let's just take a break right here. So if you have been enjoying the video thus far, then it would be absolutely magnificent if you could please hit that sub button for me. Hopefully today is the day that I have earned your subscription. But now let's get back to the video. Just dominated. Unfortunately, well, we can start here again. Unfortunately, as I was tapping that level 1 from the very, very start, he connected his hit first. And I did get hit a couple of times, but it's not a big deal. Dr. Doom's extremely tanky. It's 6-star rank 3, properly boosted, and everything's perfectly fine. I'll lose like 7% health there. Couldn't care less. The fight's well under control. Get very quickly 3 bars of power. And from here on out, it's just the Doom cycle. Drop the level 3, go into your regular rotation, get to another level 3, and basically do that till the fight is over. And we can see that I also specifically triggered Power Snack before I dropped my level 3. That is why I was like kind of a bit hesitant, because I wanted to make sure that I do get that Fury and I do get that damage increase there. So I'm going for another level 3, and at this point Nihilus is already at 52%. And I'm pretty much as safe as I can be. Using Dr. Doom, it's really hard to actually die. Now, here is the mistake that I make, though. I didn't get to my level 1 because I couldn't power drain because he had his rod active. That was an oversight of mine, kind of like in a moment of the fight. And he kept his 3 bars of power because he can't be power drained by metal defenders if he has Cosmic Rod active. And I ate level 3, but here is just another testament to how tanky is Doom with the boost. I eat at level 3. And again, I knew that going in, that even if something bad like that happens with backup recovery or Power Snack or something, I can easily tank multiples of those level 3s if I have to. So I wasn't worried there at all. Respond with a level 3 of my own, and the fight is over. Now, next fight is Mixmaster Korg. Now, we did have Omega Red scheduled for that fight. 1 second. Yeah, we did have Omega Red scheduled for that fight, but I said, I'll take it, I'll quake it. At this point, we had a whole bunch of nodes explored, hadn't given away any death, and we had a very, very good start. So, as I said before, I volunteered again. Well, I kind of insisted more like to take this Korg. I healed up Quake. I put my Suicide Masteries back on. And yeah, that is once more Quake. So move over Omega Red. And I'm not saying that Quake is better option here than Omega is, because obviously class disadvantage, it takes time, and if you mess up, you can pay for it quite dearly, because ultimately, even though you are slowing down the buildup of prowess charges with the concussions, some of them still sneak through, and Power Focus 1 means if you make a couple of mistakes, like drop a heavy attack and he connects, he can get to that level 1 quite quickly, and then with all of those prowesses, you either evade it fully or you're dead. But, again, just because I wanted to make sure that nothing bad happens, I wanted to step up, take as many fights as I can myself to make sure that we have the best chance of winning, because I was confident, I was determined, and I was driven. Little did I know that our favorite gaming company has something else for me planned later on, but we're gonna get to that in a second. Right, so this fight, we can just quickly scoot past. It's very simple, just quick fight, don't make any mistakes, and Korg goes down, wonderful. However, again, last night I had, once again, I have been trouble sleeping, to be honest, for like past week or so. And I woke up a bit later, and then I checked, and we had given away 2 deaths magically quickly. And at that point, I was already kind of pissed off because I thought the war's over. However, that wasn't the case, because KENOB quickly gave away 2 deaths of themselves, and then it just seemed that both alliances are determined to do their best to die a lot. And then followed basically a quick death exchange, and I think we went up to 5-5 or something like that in a matter of couple dozen nodes. So it was a quite bad war, I think, for both sides, and unfortunately ASR as well. Now, this is just about an hour ago from now when I did these fights, and I have path 7 Domino. Now, I have done this fight plenty of times. Some of them have been sketchy, some of them have been perfect, but I have always kind of managed to squeeze through this fight. And again, I have Suicide Masteries active to give myself the best chance, like to quickly finish this fight, because that health potion that I will have to use later is fair enough. I just wanted to make sure that I do as much damage as I can to get out of these fights as quickly as I can. That's the whole theory here, to minimize potential amount of time where I can make mistakes. And it is a scary fight, but since I have done it a bunch of times, I'm not really too worried about it. So I'm going to activate the combat regeneration boost as well. Perhaps I should have went with indestructibility boost, but I'll leave that as a discussion for later. Because this fight is where Domino finally gets me. I swear, this season Domino has been out to get me. And she finally did. But it wasn't really the Domino. So here is the first thing. I was charging heavy attack, and she gets powerful from afar buffs, even though I had concussions active. We could see that happen twice. I'm gonna get back to that after she KOs me. But we could see that she gets the powerful from afar buffs, even if I have concussions active. And that's not how it works. That's not how any of it works. Because Quake shuts down powerful from afar if concussion is active at the time when they go out of the range. Well, apparently, she didn't this time. Either way, I am still in the fight. I know it doesn't look good, but I still have a chance. So here, I go for a level 2, I connect the first hit, and there is a magical wall. And I get KO'd. So, let's take a look at that again. So this is the first thing. We can take a look at it very slowly. So, she comes in. See, powerful from far doesn't trigger. I have concussion active. And here, I am charging heavy attack, and powerful from far triggers. And it triggers again there. And here's going to be the next bit where I drop a heavy attack whilst my concussion is active. So there's no chance powerful from afar should trigger, but it does. and it never works that way, ever. And so that was the first bug, which obviously caused the fight to go well out of hand and just caused quite a bit of chaos. But I did kind of like compose myself, did bait out the special attacks, and I was kind of like determined to either try and get her down with my special attacks and basic hits and just hope that I can get out of there quickly, or if I could catch myself at a good moment where she has very little to no power, I'm not unlucky, then I could actually start quaking again. And here is the final critical moment. So she drops her level 2, which is fair enough. She goes away, and I connect my level 2. We can see that connection has been made, right? She connect the level 2, she loses 3.8k health. First hit connects, Quake flies up, and just magically punches in the wall. Domino recovers and just comes and whacks me dead. Thanks, Kabam. There is no other better way how to put it. It's both of those interactions seem to be bugged. I don't care if you can possibly somehow magically justify the first one, then nothing can potentially justify what happened the second one. So I did drop my Deathless streak, but I don't quite feel like I died. I felt like I got kabammed. But either way, death of the season, first death this season, first death in many, many wars, which is very, very frustrating, and I'm well pissed off right now, and that also unfortunately affected how I played. So we can watch the rest of the war. So we're gonna quickly pass here, so get KO'd, heal the Quake back up, go back in, and this fight again didn't go smooth, but I get out of it. Well, it's basically it's how the fight should have went, because you can see at least this time everything seemed to work properly. There's absolutely no issues, and I just Quake her down like I have done many times before. Very simple, straightforward, no problem. Then there's Terax. Again, I Q Quake 1 potion, and it's again very simple fight. Now Terax has like kinetic transference and aspect of evolution. It is also, well, very basic Quake fight. I suppose I can just speed it up. Nothing interesting, nothing crazy happens in this fight, but I'm fuming, man. I'm very mad. As you can see from the recording, I didn't even go stop the recording. I didn't talk to my alliance. I just wanted to finish the war and then talk about it. And here is the boss, and that's why the Mole Man is here. And the Mole Man against Modok. And I have never done this fight before, and I was meant to actually put in some practice, put in some duels, but I was just very pissed off, and I was just like, sod it. At this point, by the way, by the time I died, we already had lost the war, unfortunately. So it didn't determine the result of the war. We would have lost it anyways. It just really, really sucks that something like this has happened, and obviously I don't feel confident enough going in with Quake against that fight, against the Domino. But yeah, so final fight here, Mole Man against Modok. And this is very, very simple fight. I think Mole Man's probably the best counter, because so long as you stay below 10 charges, you have this true accuracy, so you just ignore the auto block. Your damage isn't as high, obviously, as it would be in Frenzy, but you still inflict bleeds, you can still inflict shock, and we can see the class advantage and everything's happening. Now, I will make a couple of slip-ups here, and if I would change anything, like after learning from the first fight, so to speak, I'd probably throw less level 1s and more level 2s. But it's also important that you have some charges on you of monster mass, and why they are important is so you can just get easy openings. That's quite as simple as that, because you can, yeah, let him hit your block and just punish that. So they make sure that you don't need to intercept, which is going to be one of the things that causes problem for me later on. We can see that, yeah, you just take a hit on a block, and the first half of the fight has gone pretty much perfect. Here I did make a mistake. I did let go of my block, so luckily I did have that indestructibility boost, which absorbed the 2 hits. But I'm going to make another mistake, I think, a bit later on, and, well, pretty much all the damage that has happened is what I have done to myself. So the only thing here is that, yeah, recoil was taking away considerable amount of my health. But yeah, I should have just went for a bit more of level 2s and maybe a bit more kind of like dash back intercepts. But overall, very, very straightforward fight. If you ever face MCOC as a final boss, yeah, just use a stacked Mole-Man, play safe, and you're going to be good to go. So here, again, we can see that MCOC's going down quickly. Now, I'm going to make a mistake here, I think, with a dash back intercept or something. And that is going to cost me a bit, but it's fine. And not a big deal. It's going to get a bit close towards the end, but we do manage to get in that solo anyway. So drop my level 1. Again, he's at like 5%. And yeah, here I just let go of block. That was the mistake, but got a bit close. But I wasn't too stressed and too worried about this fight. And ultimately, I was in a mindset where if I die, I die. It didn't matter. Well, it did. It would, but I was just so mad. I was just so mad. These clips, they make my blood boil. Because I have done these fights dozens and hundreds of times, and never have you had this thing activate. And this glitch is the craziest, man. This just, I don't know. It's so demotivating. Because you go and do the best you can for a month for the Deathless streak to be broken because of some stupid thing like that. Man, I'm well pissed off right now. But anyways, so as I said before, we did lose the war, unfortunately. So 3 losses, 6 wins. We're going to finish somewhere in Masters. Top 3 is out of the question. I'm just going to try and do my best for the rest of the season. But honestly, I just lost a very, very large portion of any motivation I had for Alliance Wars left for this season. Because fuck Kabam and fuck their bugs and fuck their glitches. And they should just fucking pull their heads out of their asses and sort this stupid fucking shit out. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I'm going to catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information